Video number 2, just had a thought, focusing on utilizing contractors to fix properties, any properties, whether it's commercial or residential. You're always going to need something fixed or done to bring properties up to a point where that end users can use them and what they expect out of these properties. Obviously, you have to have functioning bathrooms and HVAC systems, especially here in Cleveland where it gets cold or it's hot on any given day. It doesn't matter what the season is. But sorry, I'm sniffling. My allergies or must be getting a cold or something. But I'd like to get some thoughts from people on how they have dealt with contractors and how they utilize and make them a part of their business where they're assets versus something to struggle with every day. So we have issues all the time with contractors hitting deadlines, contractors doing things to the quality and standard that we expect them to. I can tell you that we try to identify the scope as detailed as possible from the beginning, and we try to put things in written form, whether it's in a contract or work order, so that everybody's on the same page from beginning to end, especially when projects go longer. People tend to forget what they agreed to do with certain things. So, I think that's going to be at least what I perceive as the biggest obstacle in growing your real estate business, is being able to find skilled contractors and similar types of individuals to fix properties so that they can reach their fullest potential. So we're trying to figure that out everywhere, everything from project management to screening contractors. All of that, I'll continue to talk about that process as far as what we do, and maybe we can get some ideas on how to make the construction process for any real estate less painful, at least less painful than what I'm experiencing now. So we screen contractors. We are there. The minimum we require, especially if we're working with third-party clients, is that they have to have their license. If it's required in Ohio, electricians and plumbers and HVAC folks need to have their license. GCs need to be registered with the city that they're working in if they're pulling permits. And they definitely have to have liability insurance to protect you and them from anything that happens to them on the job. So we have people fill out applications so that we can get their information. They fill out a W-9 for tax purposes, and so we get their information if we have to track them down later. So I interact with contractors all the time. I'm always searching for contractors. We use services like the Blue Book Network to find a network of or to tap into the network of contractors that are out there, and it seems like there's a million contractors everywhere, and everybody's doing, or you can always find somebody doing some sort of trade. So I just find it hard to believe that we can't find good people on a consistent basis that will perform on a consistent basis. in terms of quality of work, staying on a budget that with a price that's reasonable for us to be able to afford quality contractors, and then just hitting deadlines is one of the things that I don't think I've ever had a contractor, unless it's a really small job, hit their deadline. So I think if I figure that out, I think we'll be a lot more successful as a real estate investor, development, and brokerage company. So maybe your thoughts on how you've dealt with that and figured that out, for those of you out there who think I'm crazy when I talk about the difficulty in using contractors to get construction work done for your properties. So like I said, we use work orders, we use contracts, both from a legal standpoint and just from a documentation standpoint, and a communication tool so that everybody's on the same page. What we've also learned too is in some jobs and buildings that require a lot of work, that sometimes you need to get an architect involved so that all aspects of a project can be identified and planned on paper, instead of having a contractor go in, try to do something, run into an unknown when they start getting behind the walls, and then changing things up. It's a lot easier and cheaper to have an architect change those things on paper and identify the full scope of a project, that and all the requirements when it comes to electrical, HVAC, plumbing, structural issues, and then finish work as well. So yeah, just curious of what's out there when it comes to dealing with that. Maybe in another vlog we can talk about how you handle materials, where you find your suppliers and sources for the best material at wholesale prices, hopefully, instead of getting it retail. So that could be a whole topic in of itself. So, but for now, I think figuring out how to deal with contractors, and maybe it's, I've tried to build relationships, and try to view contractors as partners, because they're a vital part of what we do. And maybe that's the path or the method that I need to look more into, is instead of having a relationship, a contractor client relationship, maybe there's a way to create a partnership so that interests are more aligned. So if anybody's done that with contractors, in exchange for work, maybe exchanging equity for work, so that they're incentivized. I haven't actually done that yet, but that's, would seem like it would make sense to some people out there, to align interests to gain an equity share in the effort and sweat equity that everybody's putting in. So maybe your thoughts on that might help as well. So anyway, we'll come back and talk about materials, see how people are sourcing that stuff out, and then maybe other topics regarding contractors and construction management that you would suggest. So